All right, well, welcome back everyone. Thanks for dropping in and checking on our channel. If you watched the part 1 of the boat trailer build project or alteration project, whatever you want to call it, I guess, I had a question for everyone, and that was how to tackle this particular trailer. And well, here's where I'm at right now, and here's what I did. So if you watched part 1, and if you didn't, go and check that video out. That kind of tells the story here. But what we had here was a tongue that was V-shaped, real long. We had a bend in the frame though that wasn't supposed to be there, ever so slightly, and I was wondering what to do to salvage this into a good, actually functioning trailer, and decided to cut out the bends. I got the 2 pieces of the tongue right here that were there. There's the actual tongue with the hitch and everything in it. Got all the lights pulled off. That's those right there. And got a bunch of bolts right there, and the 2 cross members that were in there as well. Got everything kind of pulled apart. What I'm going to do now is take this tube off, take all those U-bolts off, take this tube off, do the same thing here, because these were, I just cut them real quick with a torch. That's really the best thing. I had to do it fast, so I just rolled it outside the door and fired up the torch and cut them, because that's a smoky, nasty mess. If you've ever played with material that's galvanized, you don't want to be breathing that in, so we were well ventilated. So cut those off. I want to square these up real nice, clean them up. And then I'm also going to put just a very fine, like maybe an 1/8 inch off of those, because I'm gonna have to clean these edges up anyway. But I'm gonna put a little dovetail off of here that's maybe 22 inches long, not very drastic, in a very slight angle, just so that the ramps that I put on here are not gonna be real long then. That's really what I'm going for. So yes, I will have a little dovetail on here, and then I'll have that squared off, of course, and then I will have ramps on this dovetail that'll be able to slide left to right. And I don't want the ramps to be super heavy and long, that's why I'm putting the dovetail on. It's at a good spot. Got these all cut real nice. Basically torched those off and threw them in the bandsaw and squared them up, and they are going to be good to go. Gonna have to grind the galvanizing off a little bit so I can make a nice weld on there on those edges. But give you a little trailer update. If you've been following along, we've been doing this in little spurts, as you can tell. I've got everything completely disassembled. The fenders are right there underneath the table. These are my axles. Tongue is right there. Everything's disassembled. Those are the braces that were underneath. And I've got all the brackets, and there's quite a bit underneath my jig here. A bunch of brackets, fasteners, lights, everything down there. So a big pile of brackets and things, one of which I know I have to fix because it's got a little bend to it. But at this point, I've obviously cut the tubes up like I was talking about. I've got them lightly cleaned up right there and tacked. All the edges are cleaned up right here as well. See that? And also the ends are cleaned up. That front piece there is not obviously cut. I'm going to cut that to finish the front. But I did decide to do, really, I always like these, and let me know what you think, but I've always liked these mitered corners like this instead of a perfect 90. That always seems like a corner that you run your leg into or hit yourself on. I thought this kind of looked a little better, so we're gonna cut this tube, make that fit there, and yeah, so it's good. Right now it's within 1/4 inch of square, just laying here on the floor. Not gonna do it this way. I just wanted to get it close so I could start thinking about some stuff and get some rough numbers so I can get material together for it. The ends here, I think I mentioned earlier, or I mentioned on a previous video, I want to put a little dovetail on there. And that is essentially what we got right here. This piece is about 20 inches long. We have a 20-degree bevel, I think, or 15, I'm sorry, 15-degree bevel on both sides, or miter, I should say, not bevel. And that's gonna butt up to there, so we'll have a little dovetail coming down, and then we'll have a probably around a 28 inch long ramp that'll fold up onto that little dovetail, and I'll be able to move those ramps in and out on the end of this tail. So that's where it's at. It's close to becoming a utility trailer. I've got a number. I'm gonna cut angle iron to go across here. I'm using 2 by 2 by 3/16 angle, and I'm gonna have them spaced probably like 24 inches apart. I am right now determining or thinking about, am I gonna have the angle sitting here with the angle coming up like this and over, kind of like this, come up 2 inches and then back 2 inches, something like that, or raising it up so that the angle's flush, because I am going to have a 2x6 on here, which is going to get me right about there-ish, and I'll have a little lip. This is about 1 inch right now, 1.25 inches. That's going to make it trickier, harder to load stuff on from the sides. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do here. I'm going to probably cut the angles. I'm just not sure at what height I want to set them at. If I want that floor to be flush, or if I want it inset a little bit. All in all, I'm loving this. It's taken a long time, but honestly, I think I kind of want it to take a little bit of a long time. It's just, I want to be able to look back at this thing and know that I've gone through every little crevice and thing about it and try to design it as cool looking as possible, and then also functional and efficient. I am going to probably put sides on this, not high sides. I'm thinking about having, I don't know, probably 16-inch sides, 15-inch sides maybe. That'll be able to be removable, and probably make them out of aluminum. I'll have to see if I got enough, but all right, I'll shut up. That's the update. I'll show you more when I got more. Metal Endeavors YouTube channel, some awards, working on some awards, but that's all you can see. Don't look at it. Giving you another little trailer update. Got the tube for the front here. So this piece underneath the tongue, got that all cut, just sitting there. It's not tacked in place. And I have the tongue just kind of laying here, just trying to get an idea for tongue length and how much of it I can afford to stick back into the frame, because I'm going to add another tube here. It's not only going to be welded to that tube, it's going to be welded here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a notch out of the tongue halfway up, and then take a notch out of this front tube halfway down, so that they fit kind of interlocking like a puzzle, and then that's going to get completely welded. Then I'm going to have another tube run here. That's just going to butt into it, and that's going to get welded. Maybe some gussets or whatever. That'll pretty much tie in the front. And then I'm seeing if I can use these pieces as knee bracing for the tongue, because I would like to add that. I'm not sure if these are going to work or not. I'm just kind of laying them here to see what it looks like. Just laid an axle up here, got the leaf springs on them, square, just clamped on it. This is just resting on the top of the tube in the center, and it is square off the ends, so it's not laying here kind of weird, just to verify my spacing inside, because I got all the angles cut. So we're gonna have 9 of them coming across here all the way through, and then we're gonna have the drops, which are these pieces here in the bucket, are gonna then go pretty much right down the center between each one of those angles. Tie the angles together, and then we'll put our 2x6s across the top. So I was looking at our dovetail, or the dovetail that I got right now. That's 20-inch long piece of tube. I've got from the floor to the top edge like 5 inches, 5.5 inches. It looks great. It's a little short and doesn't really have a really good angle. I think it needs a more steep angle to it, based off of how high the tire is. Just roughly, that's like 27 some inches. I'm not getting much dovetail action with that current kind of setup. It's just not tipped enough, and it's not long enough. So what had happened is my ramps are going to end up being, really long, or longer than I'd like. So I might alter that dovetail or beaver tail, whatever you want to call it. It's a tail. I think I'm just going to give it a little bit more angle, and I'm gonna roll with it from there. So I'll have to cut both sides, because then I'm not gonna be square anymore. And we'll make it work. It's coming along. I'm just taking my time with it, making sure everything fits right, and that's where it's at right now. Updates to follow. Thanks for watching.